Welcome back, everybody. It's the Aces AFL show, and do we have plenty to talk about? I'm joined by our man, the Trust Fund boy, Mitchie Wallace. He's been on fire, and Daisy Thomas, the king of the media, and we love what you are doing, especially last night, just supporting the players. That's what we are here for. You pay the people and you support the people, boys. Great to see you.
Just on, Daisy, you look a bit flustered, mate. Just talk us through your morning.
You just pulled the extra, that's a spare T-shirt at the boot if I've ever seen one.
That is exactly what it is. I had a bit of time spare between Triple M midweek rub, so I cut a couple of laps of the tan. Which, trying to sort of, well, look, I was going forwards at times. I got passed on Anderson Street Hill by some kid.
Oh, mate, how hard is that hill?
You think you're plodding along, and I'm sort of 5.5 minute K pace. I'm not breaking any records, or not quick ones anyway. Some bloke just comes flying past me. Is it okay to trip people over in that instance?
You probably don't see them by the time they've gone past you, Daisy.
Good point.
I'll tell you what, how hard is that? Like when you run that hill, is there a part of your brain that goes, oh, maybe I'll just stop here and then I'll walk the bit? Or do you run right to the end?
It was the part of the hill where I stopped and then walked. That's exactly what happened.
Did you do it a bit as a test? Did you ever do it as a test?
Yeah, we did it once as a test the day after we got back from our footy trip.
Oh my God.
And I think at that point, it was just the start of the off-season, so blokes were walking the hill.
Wow. The hill's not easy.
The hill's a joke.
You've already done
while we're on this, what's the worst test? Lots of clubs do different ones.
3Ks, I think, is the most painful. With the time, when you've got your time you have to run, 3K, I don't matter.
You would have been a good runner, though.
Yeah, but it gets harder then. So if I go have a good off season, I'd still come back and have to beat it by a second, and you get that anxious the night before. I thought 2Ks are easy. You could cheat them because you don't get fatigued.
Well, and you could slow down the one before Christmas and then come back and beat it.
Yeah, where 3K, you're in the hurt locker for a good 4 minutes, 5 minutes.
We did a 1K time trial once where it was 4 times 1Ks on the 5 minutes, and you just had an aggregate of your total time.
Yuck.
That was yucky, because how do you pace yourself?
I'll tell you what's yucky is our man Joshy Clevant letting the boys down on the propeller. Wow. He has been coughing it. I've got a few comments here on Instagram. Jason Polty has gone, that's puge. A few of his other mates said that is a decent fine Thursday night, mate. And he's going to be getting a rinsing. He's a funny man, our man Joshy Clevant. I must say, huge shout out to him. But the Chirnside Park Football Club, they've been absolutely rolled. I think we had 23 gorillas sitting there ready to go. We're going to drop them off Thursday night. It was all set up, really. They had West Coast, and the great man's let the club down. How would he be feeling, boys?
Well, I can tell you because I've done it. He'd be feeling like a little piece of turd. The responsibility, and he would have been. Would the Wizard kick one in the first quarter, or just
a couple of shots?
And you're sitting there going, "Oh boy!" Like the cash was getting moved into the briefcase. Well, actually, not that Walt took it out of the briefcase, but it was ready to go. And the big fella, I was loving the updates, but stiff, mate.
Yeah, because you look at these numbers, Cameron 4 goals, King 5 goals, and Zach Bailey 3. So we were in a rare sort of air with goal scoring.
The amount of text that go back and forth during our legs. You cannot be more invested in any sort of sport whilst you're waiting on a result.
Especially your own leg.
Zach Bailey's like, he's had 3 shots. And you're saying, what is Jeremy doing?
I mean, Jesse kicked 4 in the end, and, mate, he could have kicked 7, really. Yeah. He missed a couple of sodas for his standards early. Well, guess what? We've got something new in the studio.
I've seen that. What is that behind you?
Profit Propeller Graveyard, and there's a few clubs already in there.
So
we've got Newcomb Power, Avondale Heights. We've got the Yallourn North Football Netball Club, Yarra Warren. I think they were the ones. Narry Warren, sorry. I should say that. Daisy, you can read them. That's your mob. Our man AK from Sunshine. I think we went 0 from 4 that week. Chadston, 0 from 4. And then this week, 3 from 4 for Chirnside Park. So, boys, I'm just going to put this up on the graveyard.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I still feel bad about the Narry Warren one. Surely, if that's the only one that misses by a leg by one of us from the end of the year, or even halfway, maybe we figure out something to do.
I think just
actually stuff that. I did me punishment. Why am I going soft? I just stand in Rundle Mall like an absolute dick.
I still think, Tommy, we need to incentivise these guys to stay tuned to the show, because there may be something on offer right at the end.
I like what you're putting down. Yeah. There is definitely going to be something at the end of the year for the clubs that missed.
Lucky loser.
Yes, lucky loser. So just hang in there, guys.
Just hang in there for another 20 weeks.
It's a long season. Honestly,
you never know when we're going to pull it, though.
And
it anytime.
But speaking of long season, a lot going on. But Steele Sidebottom just winds back the clock as the Pies get the chocolates and go out on top whilst the Propeller flopped again. Just Steele and the Pies. Daisy, I think 3 weeks ago, you're on fire, mate. You did say they have a better list in 2023, I think it was. And since that comment, they have looked unbelievable. They're on top of the ladder now. And no doubt your power rankings will change in 6 weeks. Yeah. So I reckon you had them too low.
I probably did, and I think the power rankings will change to some degree. Again, this is why I've done them over a 6-week block, because they were proven pretty incorrect the 7th round in, with Adelaide obviously struggling and a couple of other sides, your old mob as well, Tommy. But the Pies, I listed a pretty simple reason as to why I thought they would got better, because they'd brought in better players. And since then, their pressure, the sustainability of what they're doing at the moment is unbelievable. So it's good to see. It's good for footy. The Pies are humming.
And talk us through Anzac Day. Obviously, you commentated on the day, and Tommy and I had a quiet beer at the Maro's, a beautiful lunch, great establishment. The Maro's. Shout out to
And while you ordered very well. I just knew what you were doing. You've been there before.
I've been there. I've done that a few times. But talk us through the actual day. I know it's a great day, and the build up, the emotion. But yeah, talk us through your experience on the day.
The fact that everybody, and we touched on this last week, is very understanding of the actual day and the respects that need to be paid before the game of footy breaks out at some stage. It's emotional when you're there. If you've got any connection to war, and a lot of us obviously in Australia do, whether it be through grandparents or relatives, the suffering and the conditions that these people went through and they sacrificed, and a lot of it was life, which is a very serious matter, of course, to afford us the opportunity to go sit in a stadium that holds 100,000 people, sit next to people you don't know and have a couple of beers and watch your football side. If these blokes don't go, men and women and currently active service aren't over there protecting what is ours, you never know. The MCG might not have, footy might not be what it is. So that shouldn't be lost on anyone. It's an unbelievable day. Even better when the Pies win, and even better when a 34-year-old's winning the medal and taking the absolute.
PI55.
Yeah, I might have to get one of these boys. I can't just.
Well, I was singing that.
Just if you got any comments, maybe save them for a bit later.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I must say, Libba and Hilly, big shout out to those two, especially. Both lads, but Hilly, being chased down is such a good sport, and I think everyone gets to see the true side of them. But if I go from what Daisy's saying, he is known to get a big guest. Our girl Paige, Sporonic. Is that her name? Sporonic? Blow your minds, Paige. She was huge, and I'm just thinking that if he's going to get someone on the show, it's going to be a big name. And I'm hearing, is that what you're talking about, Daisy?
For any of the people who don't know what you're referencing, maybe just insert the little clip at this point. There will be a good guest. They will be over the age of 30, and they will play for Collingwood. So fantastic. That narrows it down to 3. My mob were good, but you guys went head to head in the nation's capital.
Yeah. And I might lead us here because
I've got nothing to say.
Yeah, you just sit down.
It was cracking up to be a really big contest for both sides. Obviously, Doggies coming off a big win, and Giants, they need to make a statement, and it feels like they're just sitting average. And I mentioned last week that they were smashed in clearances the week before, and the Dogs were really strong in that area. And it was proven again this week. Dogs were plus 22 in clearances, which resulted in plus 15 inside 50. So there's some big numbers. And Tommy, to mention your boys, they had more disposals, more contested, more marks, more everything, but just no potency going forward. So it found like they were found wanted.
I asked Toby this on the TFG Tuesday podcast, which we love right here on American Aces, and I was concerned. I had the stats. I don't have them on me here, but they've been smacked in inside 50s in clearances. And they just look like a completely different side to the team that we saw at the start of the year. But as he said, we're not a finished product. That's fine. We didn't play well. Dogs got us. They get a great opportunity this week to bounce back. This Battle of the Bridge, we're going to talk about it later. It's one of my must-watches alongside with the Q Clash. But they've lost 6 of the last 7 against the Swans. And I think the one they won was by a point. And we know how devastating the loss was last year in the finals. So they've got a chance to respond, and you're spot on. They know where they need to fix it. It's the clearances, and they need to get the ball inside 50 to this forward line, because they've got the most potent forward line, I believe. They're just not getting enough chances.
Is Monica the place to play football at night? I think you could cop day games, because if it is a nice day, it's not going to be slippery. Regardless, at night time, it gets really cold, obviously, in Canberra.
I think
but the dew level, it was a wet weather football.
Yeah, this time of year. But I asked him about that. I said, day games or night? And he goes, nah. I love night and I love prime time. There's no excuses. The Dogs outplayed them. And so did the Bont. The Bont was on ice at 3/4 time. That's how well he's going and how well they're going. So the Dogs are actually going really well.
Mate, you're talking about the power rankings we did last week. That is a monumental shift, I reckon. That's off one game. The Doggies are now 4-3. The Giants are 4-3 as well.
Yeah, the other team that's going to be a big shift, Carlton with McKay back in the lineup. Daisy had them. Were they in the abyss?
Give me 5 more weeks.
Were they in the abyss or were they nowhere to be seen?
They were in the abyss. And you know what? Harry McKay was unbelievable. I still don't think we've given him enough of a pump up for what he actually did. Yes, there was the embracing of the moment, but some of his contest work long down the line late in that game. But the goal, this is a bloke who stepped away because he's had issues with performance anxiety, to then come back in front of a big crowd, a big stage, to take a mark and have the game on your boot in an area of the game, goal kicking, that he hasn't been great, trusted the process, went back and just looked like he was never missing it. I was sitting there, we were commentating and I was like, oh, please. I just wanted it to go through. And there's no doubt the little man on his shoulder would have been questioning and he was able to block that out and kick the winning goal. So to Harry McKay, we love the players, but we bloody love that and great to see you back.
Yeah, well done, mate. It's great to see. Yeah, big shout out to the BH, man. We love seeing blokes just bounce back.
Also, Charlie Curnow has become a very unselfish player, and I think for that reason, I will not be putting him in any of my profit propeller bets.
What's he lower? Is he lowering the eyes inside 50?
He let a couple go through. He could have marked one on the goal line.
I did see a couple of them.
So these are just things, and it's great to see because it's going to make the club better. But if you're playing in the goal-scoring markets of him 3 or 4 and chasing a little bit of value, just
and we are really playing in that area, aren't we? The goal
the
kickers.
disposals aren't like St Kilda and Brisbane was probably the outlier. I think they had 5 or 6 blokes over 30, but the rest of the games, Pies had 4 total, and then the others have been 2, so low possessions.
Well, maybe we just start backing in our man Steele Sidebottom because he seems to be getting 30 every week, and I don't reckon the bookies are backing him in like we are. Look, there's a bit more to talk about. Let's talk about some breaking news. Paul Curtis and the Kangas just cannot catch a break. He's been given 3 weeks, and we have a little photo here. I've got free Paul Curtis in my corner behind me, if you can see that in shot. 3 weeks for a genuine, beautiful chase down tackle. I know the man gets concussed, but at what point is there common sense? Because this one is an outlier for me. I'd love to know your thoughts, Wal, because I've already heard Daisy's last night.
Yeah, disappointing. Just disappointing as an industry, and there's been up in arms. And I can't remember who was the player that called it. Lukey Parker called it out last night on social media as well about the games.
Wasn't that outstanding?
Yeah, it was just dead in the water. Or the game's got no future. And I'm strong on it as well. I'm just so disappointed that it's come to that. I thought that they'd go through that tribunal process. They'd break it down enough to say, okay, it was an accidental act, an incorrect display of the tackle, which resulted in an injury, but it was no intention.
The tackle was brilliant.
But the tackle was actually, a brilliant
ridiculous,
tackle.
But the bloke underneath the tackle, I reckon, didn't know that he was there, so he's a bit floppy, like when you're not tensing, and then he's just obviously no legs, body weight
knee
forward.
Was the one. Like usually you get tackled and both legs stay together. He's splayed, and then that. Anyway. To that point, if we're seeing it, we can understand it to this level. Surely some fancy biomechanist lawyer, somebody in your camp that you've got just on the payroll or a retainer can come in and explain it and get the bloke off.
Because I think it was bang or bust. It was 3 weeks or no weeks. So I think whether they fully wanted to stamp it out, it's just disappointing because now it just comes into question every time you tackle. What is the perfect tackle? What can you get away with?
Why would you tackle though? If you're going to run a bloke down now, you've almost got to do jiu-jitsu to try and strip him of the ball rather than using your body weight.
I love what Luke Parker did. He stamped it out. I know.
Just on that, I've got what he put up. Please attend our touch football game this Thursday night versus Essendon. # no more tackling. The big Lukey Parker and all the North boys went whack on social media. They were.
So they should have.
Yeah, they were. Normally clubs don't like you doing that, but they're filthy.
Yeah, I would say they should be because he's been in rare form too. Paulie Curtis is good.
Really
to see.
important for
He's
them.
one of my favourite small forwards. I think Darcy Jones is one, and then at the moment he's a guy. They don't get talked about enough, Daisy. These blokes, and I think he kicks 2 every single week. He's one of the most consistent small forwards going around.
I reckon so. We've all heard the story. He benches 165. I think from now on, he just fucking picks them up.
and throws
Just
them.
throws them that way. Don't worry about a run down.
Yeah, instead of tackling him, just pick him up.
Just throw them.
Launch him. See you later, boys.
Anyway, it is disappointing that he's out of action. And as I said,
game's
we've
cooked,
got
mate.
free Paul Curtis behind me. Hopefully you can see that. Now, some of these veterans in the competition are dominating. I want to get to the unheralded gems in this competition because, I don't know, we talk about fine wine and age is just a number. And some of these guys, I don't know how many more years they've got, but it seems like 2 to 3 to 4. LeBron James is doing it. We're starting to see it in the AFL. Whoa.
Yeah, no, and I've printed off a list of everyone over 32 years old that's currently playing. Now, I'm going to read you some names. Now, these guys are ranking in the top 10, 20, 30 players in the competition currently, and they're above 32 years old. So, Tommy Libba, we spoke about him. We had him on the pod last week. In nearly career best.
Extend that man.
He could play till 50.
Extend that man on a 2-yearer. Give him a little bit of spell.
12-yearer. Old blokes are going to go forever. 12 years for Libba.
Jeremy Cameron. Now, he's 32 years old, and I still think that he's got an athletic profile that'll last for another 2 or 3, at least 3 years. What do you think of Jeremy Cameron?
Another 12.
Have
a drink.
the old lungs from the old Anderson Street.
That's that 10. You can't be running the 10 twice,
I'll run through them now, but Maxi Gawn, 33. 34 years old, we've got Steele. At 35, we've got Patrick Dangerfield.
Steele.
At 36, as we keep climbing the tree, we've got Dane Zorko. And then we've got your man, Scotty Pendlebury, at 37 years old.
37.
Some of these players.
He could play with his son at this rate.
I know. Well,
Could he play at 40?
LeBron.
He loves his basketball. I'd imagine he's thinking about it.
He absolutely could right now. What is it? Yeah. 3 years off or 2 years off? Can't know when his
I want him to
birthday
break
is.
the record.
You say about the NBA and he loves all his American sports. That record that looked like at one point it may not have been attainable or achievable. It's well within reach.
The Pies. There's something in the water down there. Obviously, Jackie Crisp and Pendles, everyone there.
Jezza.
Steele Sidebottom.
Oh,
And boys, there's one more that I haven't mentioned who, again, this is an appreciation post, is Jack Gunston. Some of his form of late. Now, he's only played the 5 games this year. One of those games he was sub, but he's kicked 17 goals, so he's averaging 3.5 goals a game, 6 marks and nearly 8 score involvements.
He'd be winning the Coleman if he played a full game that day.
I reckon. And if he like him on the lead now is really strong, and I reckon he's still got some left in the tank because he's missed and been a little bit wayward with some of his goal kicking.
Which he normally isn't. He's a dead-eye dick. So it's, mate, they're hard to stop, aren't they, when he's firing? Where do he's not getting their best defender because they've got a few other weapons up there, but he's crafty.
He's so smart.
How crafty is he around goal?
And even just the way, if you go and watch him live, the way he leads, just the little subtle diagonal changes, his understanding of his space and other players' space in a forward line, because I'm not sure sort of Mabs is sitting there going, hey, I'm worried about where you are. Mabs is going, give me the ball. So Gunners is doing a very good job of sort of figuring all of that out. Yeah. And the Hawks, again, he's, 5 games, how many goals?
17 goals.
There's just a handy little one to have in your back pocket, Sammy Mitchell, before, and as we just wait to see if Kalshadir comes back, and when he does, the Hawks are flying. It's almost annoying.
And we love the players. So that's just, again, an appreciation post for those players who are becoming more experienced and more senior in their football tenure. But hats off to you boys and keep doing what you do best because we're loving watching you play.
Pick your favourite at the moment. Who's the leader of the group?
Leader of the group has to be, I'm actually going to go with Jack just because of what he's done. I can't say Libba because he's probably my number one.
Well, I'll tell you who I'm going with. Have a look at this. Steele Sidebottom.
Daisy.
He didn't hear well, I don't think.
Yeah, probably
Steele?
lucky. What's going on?
Lads, good. I just chucked little Ned down for a sleep, so I won't be interrupted now. You got all of me.
Is he a good sleeper, Ned?
Yeah, he's pretty good actually. But he's 15 months now, so struggled a little bit early, but he's good now.
Is he kicking on left and right already?
That's what we've been doing all morning. A few ground balls.
It's interesting
go. Sorry, Days, go.
I was going to say, it's interesting how much these interviews have changed. At one point in your career, you would have been trying to put a UDL down so it wasn't in shot. Now it's your kid.
Yeah, I've matured just a little bit, I think.
Talk about maturity, Steele. Like we're going to get to how well you're playing in a minute, but in terms of the motivation to get up every week, you perspective changes over your career. Now that you've got a family, you talk about young Ned. What gets you up every week now? Like, why are you motivated to play? And look, we'll talk about you playing next year and years beyond because that's sort of the form you're in. But what's your motivation currently?
Oh, the 2.5 hours on the weekend, I still love going out there and competing every week. And to be honest, I still love training as well. I must admit, and you boys would be the same, that, meetings can sometimes feel like they drag on a bit, but just getting out there with the boys, kicking the footy around. I genuinely still do love playing footy. So that's probably the biggest one. And yeah, I don't know if you've seen after the game, for us on the weekend, like all the boys had their kids and stuff in and families, and it is really special. And just to see our kids interact with each other, and it is. It's nice.
Craig McRae's obviously driven a lot of that, and no doubt at some point when he took over, and I know Pendles was a little bit in the same boat, there was probably a sense that maybe the end was coming. How crucial has he been in making sure you're playing and continuing to play at such a high level?
Yeah, huge. And I think probably the first time that I spoke to Fly when he became coach at Collingwood, he just sort of asked me what I needed. And to be honest, I just said I sort of needed just to get back to basics and really just go back to the fundamentals of the game. And Fly's big on that. We spend heaps of time at the footy club on the fundamentals of our game. I guess it's nice to have someone who believes in, and not to say any of my coaches hasn't. My form in the last sort of 12 months, probably wasn't where, I would have liked it. Decisions need to be made when, the old guys aren't performing. And Fly sort of, said to me anyway, he's like, I want you to play for as long as you can. And I guess when you've got the backing of your coach, it makes it a little bit easier. But, I love playing under Fly. He's a great, I think he's a teacher by trade. So, some of his students would have loved him growing up because, I definitely do.
Mate, 35 Anzac Day. But what I love is you're getting the contested nut. You're not getting the ones on the outside.
15 clearances.
15 clearances. You're on track to break the record. I think we're at Lamaro's having a few beers and going, Steele's about to break the record. Well, mate, how many more years have you got left in you? Because when you're getting the inside pip and the outside and you're doing it all, how many more years do you think you got?
Oh, I'd love to say 5. Probably not 5. I guess at the moment it really is. It's year by year. If I think we're 7 rounds in. If you had have asked me at the start of the year how many more, I probably would have said I'd be happy to get through this year. But if I can keep performing and keep contributing, I'll keep playing for as long as I can. I don't have this fancy job lined up for when we post footy, so. The footy's paying the bills at the moment, so I'll keep trying to get a kick.
Oh, very good. And Daisy touched on before about the significance of Anzac Day game and you getting the medal for the second time in your career. Was this one more special than the last medal? Like, I know you're a bit early, you're probably in the peak of your powers when you won it the first time, and now going through those cycles and talk about Fly coming on and the transition for your footy journey. Was this one right up there in terms of significance for you?
I think so. And the older you get, clearly, well, for some, the mature they get. And, Anzac Day for our country is a special day. And, I've sort of said it before, for us to be able to get out there and perform, I guess, on behalf of the whole AFL and just to stop and think about, everyone that basically has gone to fight for this great country over the years, for us to sort of, go out there and play footy on that day is pretty special. And, the Anzac Day is one that we always circle, and it's one that we're very privileged to be able to play a part in.
Some of the other older boys' side, Pendles had a lazy 31, Howie, who isn't your cousin, we got that for sure. He was awesome. But also, what about Crisp? Jack Crisp, he equalled Jim Stein's record. This week he goes on to break it. Can you shed it? Any light? The question is, and I'm stuttering over the words because I can't believe it's happening.
Yeah, Crispy. He's a bit of a different cat. But
I've seen him on TikTok.
Yeah. It's some of those videos keep coming up too. But
the algorithm.
For him to 244 games or whatever it is, it's incredible. I think he may have lied about having COVID or something one stage to keep the streaks going. But just his footy is going as well as it's been as well. He's an absolute workhorse. He's probably one of the best runners at our footy club. He's playing out in the wing at the moment as well with Paddy Lipinski, and them two hand in hand are probably our best runners. So I'm not sure how he does it. But yeah, to get that many games consecutive is obviously a huge achievement, and we'll definitely make sure that we celebrate it this week because it's huge.
Now you speak about him being a different cat. Who are the different cats at the Pies, and who's the man that when you walk into the facility just provides the energy? You just start laughing straight away. You go, geez, I love hanging out with you.
Good question. Big DC, he's good to be around. Always having a laugh with him. Crispy, we're usually laughing at him, so not with him. Who else is there?
Bobby Hill's pretty funny. He's very shy to everyone else, but I'd imagine he's pretty funny in the locker room.
Yeah, Bobby is very funny actually. Once he gets a little bit comfortable, I obviously sit next to him in the locker room, and you sometimes see him run around with big Mace Cox's shoes on and things going through the corridors. He always provides a good laugh for the lads.
Yeah, nice. And sorry, looking forward to this week. It's a big game against the Cats you talked about. Is it more focusing on what you guys are doing? Because you're doing really well behind the ball and obviously around the clearances and even up forward, so you hold your total game. I just went through each line then. Are you going to focus a lot of your efforts on diagnosing what the Cats are doing or more focusing on what you're doing well?
There'll be a little bit of each. I think probably leaning towards what we're doing well, but we obviously have an opposition meeting every week and probably just go over the things that, they're good at and probably what we need to manage and then where we can exploit them a little bit. The Cats have been a great side, ever since I've played and, we'll have our work cut out. I won't go through it. You probably already know how they play. Their high forwards get up and try and lose you on the way back. So, we'll have our work cut out, no doubt. And, you want to play in the big games. And the Cats, as I said, have always been a good team. And, another good challenge for us coming Saturday night.
If you do get the chocolates, we'll no doubt see you shushing the circle. How did this come about that you became the main man to get everyone to shut up?
The chief shusher.
The chief.
Yeah, I'm not the chief shusher. Gets everyone to shush. I just set the song off, so Darcy gets everyone nice and quiet, and depending on how I feel, I'll hold it for a while and just keep the silence, or I'll just bang it out straight away. But I don't know how it started, Days. Probably when Darcy thought I was the man to do it, and it's just sort of held on. So.
What's the longest you've held it? Have you held it for a real extended time? Can we get an extended time this week if you get the chocolates?
Yes.
I can't tell you off the top of my head, but next time we win a game, I'll see how long I can push it right.
We're going to start clocking it and see what's the longest you can do it with.
Give me a number to aim for.
I reckon
10 seconds plus.
I reckon 12 seconds.
I've done 10.
I reckon 15.
15 there.
Go 15 seconds. We're going to type 15 seconds this weekend if you get the chocolates.
Right, unders and overs will go over.
and just finally, obviously Nicky Dacos was bestowed the captaincy for the first time and the youngest player to do it in a long time. Talk us through how he went about doing that and how he spoke, because, again, he delivered from a performance point of view, but was there something that stood out for you, the way he carried himself?
Oh, well, one thing he done that you probably didn't even realise was his magnet was up to start in the first centre bounce, and he got Geordie to start in the centre bounce and he started forward. So straight off the bat, just being selfless. He's a leader already at our footy club without having the title. I think when you play alongside those kinds of guys, they just drag others along with them. There's no doubt that Nick's going to captain the footy side at some stage. I don't know how long that'll be, but the way he goes about, the way he prepares, I think he was almost waiting for this opportunity, and it was good to see that it didn't affect his performance either. So he didn't feel like it was a big burden. It was something he was probably ready for.
Love it, mate. You've been elite here. Let's talk day off. What does the great man do on his day off? You're talking about not much going on post football. Well, why would you bother when you can play to your 50? And if you ever need a job, mate, you can come sit on the panel and talk a little bit of rubbish next to the boys. But what are you doing on your day off besides making sure Ned gets a nice snooze?
Funny enough, I actually went and got my eyes checked this morning.
OPS.
My left eye has been a little bit blurry, so I went and got my eyes checked this morning. Come back all clear, so I don't need any glasses or anything like that.
That was a sale for Rixie's waiting to happen. I'm a bit disappointed with that.
I tell you what, you know you're getting old when your day off includes going to get your eyes checked.
Well, you got to get them right, because if my eyes are shot, then I'm probably not going to be any good at what I'm doing.
I could have told you they're not shot, mate, when I was looking at how you're using that pill.
Are you still selling those, Ricks, are you?
Yeah, they're still selling them, mate. You need a pair, let me know. I don't think, we're built different, but I don't think you need them right now. You're seeing the world perfectly.
You smashed me last set, if you can remember.
I can't remember that, but I that's probably because you fed me a Corona for breakfast.
You need to send him.
The question is, not a lot for my day off. Yeah, I'm just with Ned today. We went for a bit of a bike ride before, but yeah, just chilling out and spending some good quality time with the little fella. No,
you are an absolute star, mate. We'll get some Rixes sent out to you, but we hope to see you, and we know you will be dominating not just this week, but for a long time. And we look forward to that big pause as you sing into the song. Sidey, thanks so much for jumping on.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Really appreciate your time. Well done.
Thanks, King.
Russell!
Keep up the good work, mate.
I can't even see your head either, Days. My video thing's over.
Nah, that's all right. It's perfect.
Lucky you.
I don't want to see his shirt, mate. It's a bit crinkled.
I went for a run before. You're lucky I'm still fucking breathing.
Blew up the hill.
Started rolling back down the gate. Thanks for that, pal.
Thanks,
good man.
There, Sidey.
See you, buddy. Bye.
Cheers, brother. Oh, what a man. He's the best.
He's a king. Yeah, mate, just a ripper, as you can see there. He's matured, which is obviously what you're hoping to do at some point. Still time for you, Tommy. But he's a ripper. It's great to see. I love the fact that Craig McRae has backed in. That's both Pendles and Sidey now who have spoken and said, first meeting, what do you want? What do you need to make sure you can play for as long as you can? And that confidence is the reason, one, why the Pies won it in 2023. And why they're going a long way to win it this year.
34 years old. I remember Steele would have been, nearly 18 years ago in the TAC Cup Grand Final, kicking 10 goals. Yeah. The TAC Cup medalist. That's how long he's been around. It's quite crazy that he's still playing the level of footy that he is playing today.
Well, you were going to say this is your match of the round, so we may as well rip right into it with the Cats taking on the Pies.
Just quietly, when Steele is finished with football, whenever it is, he's going to have some sort of trophy room. He's done it at every level.
We should have asked him about the get up tattoo as well.
We can get him back later.
Yeah, that was a little barley hand. We'll save it.
Anyway, he's at Saturday Night Blockbuster. We've spoken a bit about it already, but the Cats coming up against Daisy's Hot Pies.
Hot Pies.
But another great win on Anzac Day for Collingwood. Essendon threw a couple of punches in the third quarter, but they responded really well and closed out the game, 41-point winners. Obviously massive from the Dacos boys and our man Steele, the best on ground medalist, the Anzac Day medalist. So congratulations to him again. 5 big ones from Jamie.
Oh,
he was a bit stiff. Yeah, he was a bit stiff.
When Steele's putting him on his titties, it's kind of easy when you get 35.
But he was very accurate in front of goal. And you put Darcy Moore back in there this week, which the Pies have confirmed that he is playing. They're defending well and they're in really good form. But I still think they've got some upside. I don't think the goalie's really hit his straps, and Paddy Lipinski has a bit more to give as well.
Could have given a goal the other week.
Yeah, I know he could have. He could have thought about pay the people. And the only unfortunate thing is Dan McKay, the injury to come out of that, which just ruffles the feathers a bit with that forward line structure. But I'm sure they'll be fine. And they're coming up against the Cats, who are sitting 7th at 4-3, which is probably a little bit unders for mine. I thought they'd be going a little bit stronger. But Carlton were just hungrier last week. They got the job done. So I'm expecting more from their stars in Danger, Holmes and Stewart. They need to respond. They weren't good enough against the Blues. But it'll be a fascinating midfield battle. You know, you've got Holmes and you've got Bailey Smith, and then we spoke about the Dacos boys and Collingwood's firepower in there. It'll come down to the wire. I hope it's just a really good game for footy. And Daisy, who you going for? Who are you tipping?
I think it's going to be a real close one. I'm leaning towards Geelong. I think there's a response coming. They played horribly as an admission from their own coach. He said, I don't think we've put out a game that bad for a long time. The Pies have been very good, but there is such a thing as blockbuster syndrome. And when you've sort of pumped out 6 weeks of really high quality standard football, it is maintainable, but, McKay going out probably hurts a little bit. The Cats, again, I could see this going either way, but I'm going to lean just towards the Cats. For no real reason other than if you've won 6 in a row, you're pretty close to a loss.
There's a man that loves the Pies, and it's Jesse Cameron. We saw him kick 4 last week. I thought he was a bit wayward as well.
He was,
He could probably kick 6 or 7, but he always plays well against the Pies. I wonder if he's got a massive bag in him. I don't know. I can't really tip against the Pies the way they're playing.
It's hard to, isn't it?
What's the weather doing, Days? I'm going to go to
Saturday's good, gorgeous day. I'll be playing golf in the morning, 20-odd degrees.
Myers would be back, wouldn't he? He would have missed
Should be back, if he's fine. Yeah,
it's a funny one.
Thank you, Grant.
Off the back of a loss, you'd think, not that Geelong's got more to play for, but you know how you always respond a bit better in the first quarter anyway off a loss. I could lean to the line for the Cats, but at the moment, the way I'm going, I'm just going to lean with the hot hand and I'm going to go with the Pies. But I'd expect Jezza to kick a bag.
How many you want? 5? He's $10 with the people at PointsBet.
What's for 4?
$5, $4.50.
I reckon I'll take the 5. I want some. What's 6? It's like, when the forwards they have 3 big bags a year.
21 clams.
I reckon there might be 6 in there. I reckon the big fella.
If he kicks 6, Geelong will win.
That's
probably a good
stiff. It's not a bad one. Well,
maybe we should have a little Aces responsible little dabble on that one.
I reckon we should. Obviously, for our friends at PointsBet, who are built differently. He is built differently. I think we should, on our little punters club, have a little bit on it because I've seen him just dominate against the Pies.
Okay.
So just watch that space. But it's going to be a cracker. Geez, there's some good games this weekend.
Oh, great games. But I just think that Geelong will bounce back. I just think if Collingwood lose this one, it doesn't do too much to them because they've proven it. Where Geelong, if you're 4-4, I don't reckon that's a pass mark for them. So they've got a lot to play for, and I think they'll respond.
Yeah, it's going to be. There's so many must-watches this week, and there's also
the last 2 are the ones you want to watch. The first 2 sort of start
they
off
are,
okay.
And of course, our friends at StatMate who are running hot. They are running hot. They have a few more. Just so for people that love StatMate, download the app. But here's a couple of specials, maybe 4. Nick Dacos has had 30 disposals in both of his last 2 meetings with Geelong, 35 and 32.
Juicy.
His brother he's having a huge run at the G. He's averaging 31.6 disposals in his last 5 matches at the venue, and he's covered 25 plus in all of them. And then you go to the 2 hot hands at the Cats. Bailey Smith, he's still a member of the 100% club. That's 25 plus disposals in all of his 6 games this year.
Good.
And then the guy that I was talking about, Jezza Cameron, he's kicked 2 in the last 9 of 10 at the G, 30 in total.
6 coming.
We've got him for 6. It's good to see our friends at StatMate are backing up how I am feeling and what I've seen in the past. Daisy, what is your must-watch for round 8?
It's my boys, the Gold Coast Suns. I've started the campaigning at the start of this year saying they were going to be a side that jumps into the 8, and I got slightly laughed at. I'm not going to lie. I told you they should be 6 and zip. They gassed it against the Tigs, but we move on. This is a big game for them. They come up against the reigning champs. They go to the reigning champs patch. The defensive work that the Suns are doing, and against the Swans were very good, but then to reel off those 12 goals in a row. Gold Coast Suns are right now complete. I do want to see it again this week, but they have given me no reason to think that they won't be getting it done, and I think this is going to be a cracker, and they will be rocketing up the old bloody ratings, Gold Coast Suns.
I just feel like Daisy's bet on PointsBet at the start of the year should go on the graveyard because the fact they lost to the Tigers and hey, you go easy on careful.
That's valuable.
Not the graveyard, man. He's filthy. It's one of the.
Put it up there. We need the multi-slip up there.
Can you imagine that he's gone down to the Tigers?
Wow.
And they're knocking off absolutely everyone else, and they've won around
It's going to be a game though because the Lions are in decent enough touch as well. They had the poor one against.
What time it's on this week?
It's 7:30 on a Sunday night.
7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time. I love that. Sunday night football. It's a big thing in the States, and I think we should bring it back, in Australia. That is going to be a perler. You got 3 games on the Sunday to watch, and I'll throw to my game, but the Battle of the Bridge, it's the Giants taking on the Swans. And the reason it's big is because if you look at the ladder, this is a huge game for the Swans. And obviously the Giants, they're sitting in 6th, but their form has been quite poor the last 2 weeks. If the Swans lose this one, you're talking bottom 4, and that is just a big drop-off since obviously the grand final. As I said, 6 of the last 7, the Swans have won. Now, I don't know about you boys, but I love me Baccarat, but I also love me Roulette. And when I see 6 out of the last 7, I jump on the other colour and I'm ready for the streak to just reset. So I'm going to be jumping on my boys. I'm jumping on my boys, the Giants. And I think that the small forwards, I thought, Bailey Humphrey last week, he was enormous. Big Kingy got out the back. But anyone playing deep, they're kind of leaking a little bit. And I thought the Swans started well, but they kind of got opened up late. So if the Giants can start well, I think they can win this game of footy, and Bedford will have to go to Warner or Heaney, and there'll be a few roles there. But I think the mids will be, if they haven't been given an almighty rev up from Kingers to say win the clearances this week and get the ball inside 50, I'd be very surprised. So looking forward to that one, boys. That'll be a crack-up.
That's massive on their patch.
Massive, yeah.
Like the clearance numbers at the SCG, you get it in your score.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
it's a
if they
genuine
don't, they
midfield
need
job.
a big turnaround too, because it's a consistent
Yeah.
thing now.
I don't reckon the Giants have played them without Goulden, so that'll make their life a bit easier.
Yep.
And you think about the matchups, Cadman, even Stringer, Greene, Hogan.
Stringer's surely due for a decent game, isn't he?
I've got something later on that might involve his name. If you know what I'm talking about. I reckon our friends at PointsBet have just got it wrong in the trading department. Oh, it's juicy.
That's a win for us, though. That's a win for the people.
It is a win for the people if we can go 4 from 4. That little hint. One more, Adelaide Carlton. Big game, another big game. There's a lot of big games coming up, and I want to talk about them all quickly, but that is another big game because Carlton have slowly got going, and if they win this, that would be, I think, an almost 4 on the trot, is it? And they all of a sudden sneaking their way back into potentially the 8.
Yeah, and I want to talk about you got your A-listers, but someone who's not flying under the radar because he's starting to get some pats on the back and some credits, but Georgie Hewitt. Some of his numbers and his output this season has been incredible.
Most underrated in the comp?
I think on performance, yes, at the moment. He's had 30 touches every week. Well, he's averaging, He's had over 7.5 clearances. He's kicked 5 goals for the year, and he's averaging 7 score involvements. In a team that has had their ups and downs, had a really tough start, and are now starting to tick over the wins, he's been a major catalyst for that. So he's got the guns around him in Cripps and Walsh, but I think he's flying the flag and being their most valuable mid at present.
And Chera, who's normally around him, but just on that, the verdict is in. Gun Blues midfielder, the fate at the Tribunal. He's free to face Adelaide, so he's got off. He's free to play.
Oh, an exclusive.
A little exclusive. Tommy Morris Jr.
Oh, boy.
We've got Chera will be playing. It's a big 4, isn't it? That's a nice midfield, and their ruckman de Koning he's going to be getting paid a lot of money, depending if he leaves. But his stocks are rising.
Yeah. Well, it becomes a big game for the Blues, as you said. 3 in a row is well done. You knocked off North, you knocked off West Coast. Geelong was a big tick because I was concerned. Now it has to come again. You can't just sort of be 1 in, 1 out. And I had them in the abyss. But
the abyss, and you also had Adelaide number 1. So I reckon this is a big game for your power rankings.
6-week blocks, all right? This is why we're not jumping to conclusions. This is the whole...
I'm just there. You are the king. You're on fire. But I just need to remind you that the Crows are sitting 5th since you said that. And they're kind of drinking their own bathwater. I think they're listening into this podcast because they need to get you the chocolates there just so they can creep back up.
How were the power rankings? Let's go through what I had and who got rolled on the weekend. Adelaide rolled, Geelong rolled, Collingwood Hawthorn, they had easy kills, Brisbane, GWS and the Gold Coast. They're not so bad.
Not too bad.
I'm more below the line. Go below. Who's below the line?
Come see me in 6 weeks. That's all I'm saying. And if you want some more receipts, go to the start of the year when I said Sydney wouldn't be making
again, it's at Adelaide Oval, this one. So, again, that's another element. Adelaide play well there. They score heavily there. So, I reckon it's just, it's cracking up to be a really big game.
Just a quick one. Someone had a laugh on the internet. I saw it, but I think it might have been the 100K boys, but saying something like, we did not deserve this, did we, to have Essendon v North Thursday night and Saints hosting Freo for Friday night football. But it could be some good games of footy. Quick tips on the top 2. Yeah. Thursday night footy.
Essendon. They'll get it done over North.
I don't think this is going to be as much of a blowout. I give the Kangas a chance, but it should be the Bombers winning.
I think this could be the value weekend, the value pick of the weekend. I think North can win 1-39. You get about 350 on PointsBet. So I'd be checking that out because I don't know. There's something about Anzac Day, big game, and then they all just have that. What do you call it? The blockbuster what?
Blockbuster syndrome.
Yeah, the blockbuster syndrome. And I reckon North, they showed a bit last week. They've been in the press. They'll come out, and if they can start well, which they haven't done all year, they're like the top 3 in this, the competition for their second quarters, I saw. They're just terrible at the start. So they just need to start well.
The line's 16.5. So you can have the start. So that, and the algorithm of what the bookies are pumping out, again, that was spot on. I had a go at the Blues because the Cats, were 12.5. I thought they'd cover that. Then it came into 5.5, and I was sitting there going, what am I missing? And then they obviously got rolled, the Cats, so I was missing a lot. The algorithm is usually pretty spot
very
on.
good, the traders. They know what they're talking about. I can't. Okay, tell you why I don't agree with them. How is Fremantle $1.74 against the Saints? What am I missing? I know they're on the road.
Do you think it should be $1.40?
$1.20.
Yeah, and again, this is
it's the best bet of the year outside of the one I tipped when I was Melbourne against Richmond.
5.5, 1 goal.
What are we missing? What's going on?
Well, this is just
Freo haven't travelled well this year.
This is the
I know
algorithm.
they haven't travelled well. They actually got beat by Melbourne, but they're going to obviously come back and just be ready to go. I think
The
this
Saints were shocking though. It's obviously taken into recent history, scoring. I agree with you though.
I want to get them going early, but I think
that could be a point. I don't think they take emotion into their betting, but
I don't think it matters after half time. So I think Fremantle's a much better side.
Yeah, they are. I think they'll win comfortably.
But $1.74, that is outrageous odds.
Oh, well, there you go. That can be one of your locks for the weekend.
Yeah, I think it should be. Anyway, keep moving. Dogs at Port, just quickly. We don't normally do this, but I think these games are blockbusters. Dogs are hosting them at Marvel.
No, not Mars Stadium. They're down in Ballarat.
Jeez, I couldn't see. Where are they playing?
Mars Stadium, Ballarat. In Ballarat, mate.
Jeez,
Have you ever been down there before, mate?
I think I went down on a Sovereign Hill. Is that where you get the gold? I think I went down there with a little year 3 excursion when I was just going, where's the gold?
We touched on before about Monica being cold. Now, that place is a cold place.
Sovereign Hill. What a disgrace. Can you imagine being an AFL player just going, how good's this home game? Oh, no, hang on. We're playing out at Sovereign Hill.
But they're not playing at Sovereign Hill. They're playing at Mars Stadium. No, they'll get the win. They're just in ripping form. They've welcomed back their stars. I'm trying to pull this pod together. These guys are far out. We got a job to do here, guys. Far out.
The verdict's in. Crows defender learns his fate at the tribunal for striking. What's going on here?
Mitchie Hinge, did he clobber someone?
Yeah, the Crow is in hot water for catching Brayshaw high, leading to a 1-game suspension. So he'll be out against the Blues.
Oh,
that's a little bit of breaking news from Tommy Morris. Daisy,
the Dogs get it over.
No, I'm tipping Port Adelaide in that one. I like what they're doing. Again, they're down at Sovereign Hill, so I'll enjoy that.
Let's get this show back on track, obviously, boys. It's the NBA playoffs, and we're in full swing.
Yes.
Make sure you check out the brand new podcast, boys, the Aces NBA show. We have Pete Hooley, Jeff Goebbels from Maths. That's right, he's from Maths, but he's a tradie. He loves racing. He loves racing, which you'll love him, and he loves NBA. And our special guest, Thanasi Kokonakis, right here on Oz American Aces. That'll be online on Fridays, covering all the weekend's basketball. Obviously, the NBA playoffs are in full swing, boys. There's no better time to check out the PointsBet app. You got the NBA Bet Tracker, single markets, multis. Just follow your NBA bets live in the PointsBet app. PointsBet built different. We're going to have a couple of NBA same gamers, I think, in the Punters Club because it's just starting to fire up.
Yes, and I'll have all eyes on the Lakers tomorrow. They got the Timberwolves. They're down 3-1. LeBron and I think the whole starting 5 played the last half and did not have
JJ
one
Redick
substitution.
didn't take him off, and LeBron was a bit fatigued.
He was.
That's because he's 60.
Yeah, I know, but mate, he had 22 points at half time and only scored 5 for the rest of the game. So
Because he's 60.
read into that what you will, but it'll be fascinating because again, if they bow out 4-1 to the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards, that's a bit of a failure for a season.
He's got everything
with all the promise.
He's just
LA
going
in
through
7.
anyone in his way. I hope it's the Lakers in 7. Well, tune into that Aces NBA show. As I said, special guest, Thanasi Kokonakis. Now, boys, it's time for our favourite segment. A little bit of a drum roll here, but this is the Profit Propeller. It's round 8. And our friends at Chirnside Park, and I think our friends at Narry Warren, they're the top 2. They've gone down to the wire, and I just thought the energy last week. I know our man Joshy Clevant, he'd be copying it from the boys, but his energy was grouse. And we said, if there's a week to get it, we want it this week because we can feel it, and we hope that whoever the representative and the president that answers the phone after the pod, once we spin the propeller, we need that energy. So, boys, this week, it gives me great pleasure to announce that there's a brand new football club on the Propeller, and that will be Harcourt Football Netball Club. So a round of applause for Harcourt. Great to have you on the Propeller.
I'm pretty sure they're the Lions.
The Lions.
They are the Lions, and if they're not, I need a spell. So, boys, can someone...
Wait, Steele came on before and talked about getting his eyesight checked on his day off. The amount of times you've said, I can't see, I can't read. I think they might maybe give him a call and just...
Might be time to call my boss and say, boys, we might need some Rixie prescriptions. We do Rixie prescriptions. Use 20 Aces for 20% off online. If you need a pair, get online, use 20% off.
Sidey needs a pair because you crushed him or something. What happened?
I don't know. I'll have to chase that one up. I'll send him a pair. We've got his we've got his address there. But yeah, I don't remember crushing it. I mean, as I said, I stayed at his house once and he fed me Coronas from 11 a.m. onwards. So I don't really remember what happened that
great
day.
mentor.
All right, boys, someone spin the propeller. It's time to really let rip.
Yeah.
Who's spin?
We'll go through our bets first, won't we?
Yeah. Well, do you want to spin them first or do you want to go through our bets? Let's go through our bets while we're here.
Sure.
Now, look, we love the players here on our pod, on the Aces
And
AFL
Kenny.
show. And Kenny, we love Kenny.
Kenny's flying.
But in terms of, we spoke of George Hewitt and his influence, there's another guy that is not flying under the radar again because he's starting to get the pats in the back, but Matt Kennedy from the Dogs. He's come across, no real expectation of what he can do, been a really successful player at Carlton, but some of the numbers he's producing and the influence he's having on games is really significant. So 24 disposals, 1 goal, nearly 7 clearances and 5 inside 50s averaging this year. But again, the influence, especially over the last few weeks when Dogs have got their game going, he's kicked 7 goals and our friends at PointsBet have him for $2 for any time goal scorer.
$2.
For $2. And he's
They're
kicked
being generous
7
this
goals.
week, the
I don't reckon
traders.
that you talk about algorithms. They have not caught up to the 411 of that. He will kick a goal this week and he might even kick multiple because he's averaging, obviously, like I said, 1 goal a game, but 7 over the past 5 games, Daisy.
Let's hope he doesn't do what Oscar Allen did to me and go play full back when I've got him for a couple. Anyway, that's a great one. $2. That's good juice. Daisy, it's now over to you.
Yeah, I'm going to continue a trend here and sort of the rest of my punting for the back half of this year and the rest of the year will be around West Coast, North Melbourne and, of course, Richmond. I think there's opportunities for goal scorers, obviously, against them because they're not that good. So I'm going to West Coast taking on Melbourne and I will be taking Christian Petrarca for 2 or more goals, $2.10.
Oh, yes.
I think that's very nice value
Smart
as
betting.
well. What's he
love
kicked?
it.
He's had a couple of shots this year. He's going along nicely. Kicked 2 on the weekend. Come on, Christian.
I love it, boys. Well, small deck, Battle of the Bridge. This one will be at the SCG in Sydney. Weather will be pristine. Big time player. Someone that hasn't really got going yet in front of the sticks, but has a lot of shots on goal. And when the ground's a bit more condensed, I think he gets a few more shots at it. So I'm going to go for the package. It's time for the package to rock. The package needs to rock up for me. He's paying $2.80 for 2. So this will ignite. This will ignite the propeller. So I don't know what our friends that we're going to spin soon, whoever that is, but whoever gets an opportunity to finish this one off, they're going to get a little bit more juice on this one. So the package, Jakey Stringer for the GWS Giants to kick 2 goals at $2.80 will go in for me, and I hope to salute. Right, boys, it's time.
It's time to spin.
Spin that thing.
Now, do you want to spin or do you want me to? Because we got the chocolates last week, the 3 of us in the spin.
I'd like to repeat it.
Yeah?
I think
that
you span.
Someone
Yeah,
holds
I'll
it, someone
hold it.
spins it, I'll watch it. Here we go. Righto, boys, on my cue. So Daisy, watch make sure the camera can see it. All right, here we go. Oh, there goes the signed jersey from Guinea and the Wizard. All right, here we go. The profit propeller for week 8 is off and running. It's spinning. The winner for round 8 profit propeller will be the Rokewood Corindap Football Netball Club. There we go.
What are they? Is it a
What, the Grasshoppers. The Grasshoppers. Oh, we'll be hopping around your football club with a briefcase full of cash. Daisy's absolutely murdered the set. Murdered the set and the scene. Oh, there you go. The Rokewood Corindap Football Netball Club Grasshoppers. Is that how you say it? Is that how you say it?
We've lost our way.
I just hope they're not too far away when we have to drive. Well, you come with me, won't you?
I'll
Drop
come
the
with you,
cash
mate.
off.
I'm going to Google how far it is.
Can you
Sounds
Google
like
that
it's
part?
going to be a long way
I've never heard
away.
of that. Rokewood. They
What's the
sound like a
second
great
part?
bunch of people. So looking forward to send. Benny, send me through the number there. We'll call them off there, boys. It's been an amazing show. It's been plenty in it. Look, plenty to recap. Paul Curtis, he is stiff. Sheasel, keep your head high. You are a star, and we love you. And to our man, Steele Sidebottom, for joining us. Daisy, you have not missed.
Yep.
You are 2 from 2,
Thank
Daisy.
you.
And that
Good
one takes the
guess.
chocolates. Anzac Day Medalist right here on the Aces AFL show. Well, Daisy, you've been enormous. And as we love to just round out the show, we are just praying, can we go 4 from 4 on the Profit Propeller? Make sure you tune into the PointsBet app. We've got all our specials up there. We've been getting on the Profit Propeller every week, so we're hurting with you. But this week, I can feel it. It's the one. We are in good form. So to everyone that tunes in, thank you so much for your support. Hit subscribe, hit like. Hang on, Daisy, you breaking your story at the end of the pod while I'm trying to close out?
I am.
What have you got?
Ropewood's an hour and 54 away.
Oh,
you boys will do a good job delivering that. Well
We might
done.
need to get a chopper there. Hopefully they pick a little, we'll have to put a little bit more money on it this week so we can get a chopper.
Catch out for petrol.
There you go. Thank you so much for tuning in right here. We'll see you next week, same time on Oz American Aces. Cheers.
You need your bodyguard to be quick. And Gaz is as quick as they come. Still, he's not as quick as a PointsBet app where I can place my same game multi before he's had a chance to even... We'll call that a draw.
It's never been quicker to piece together an NBA same-game multi with PointsBet.
Memories.
PointsBet, built different. You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.